actually, do you know, seeing is believing. The brain can't actually conceive something it doesn't see. And that's why role models are so important. 7 out of 10 young people say that
I love to see that much energy.
Oh, that's the... it's coming back. So where was I? Yeah, 7 out of 10 young people aged 18 to 24 say they've pursued their career because they were inspired by a role model. And gender matters, research tells us. Apparently, 73% of women say they need to be inspired by a female role model, while only 53% of male feel that way. So, what if you don't have a role model? That's the question I want to explore with my 3 amazing panelists who have charted their course without a map. Nicole, I will start with you. You've held key leadership positions in the US at JP Morgan Chase and Kimberly-Clark. Today, you are the director of Intuit Academy. You believe in the empowerment of individuals through education. So in very many instances, you were the only woman in your environment. How did you find your place?
I think it's counterintuitive, but sometimes you have to be your own role model, right? I remember very early in my career, I was told by a person in leadership, you are not leadership material.
Oh, wow.
You are too happy, you are too perky, and you're too professional.
Oh, that's a good one.
I didn't realize those are bad things. So I thought to myself, ooh, that's very painful, right? But I think what's more painful is that I actually started to believe it. And so I shrunk myself. And I minimized. I was very serious in meetings. And that's simply not who I am. And one day I said, I can't take this anymore. If this is not leadership material, then I should not be here. And I stepped back into myself because you should never clip your wings to fit into a box. And the most amazing thing happened. I was actually promoted, not at that company, but at another, because someone found me and celebrated me. And I think each one of us has a divine purpose. Each one of us is beautifully made. And why should you try to pretend to be somebody else? It's authenticity. So be your own role model and own that.
I'll find my divine purpose. Silvia, you're head of Quality Architecture and Network Solutions at Continental Automotive in Romania. You've led tech teams in various countries for the past 10 years. What's your take on building your personal brand?
Yeah, thank you. Actually, our personal brand is how others perceive ourselves through our actions and through our behaviors. And it's crucial this to map with how we see ourselves. Of course, we can be subjective when it comes to ourselves. And actually, I have a small exercise I do for myself, and I can recommend it to the audience. Describe yourself in short, and then ask for feedback. Does the picture match? If not, ask yourself who you truly are, and embrace your authentic you. For me, ultimately, authenticity is the key. To be honest, to be genuine, because this builds trust, which from my perspective is one of the most important values a team or community can share.
And it's core to human relationships.
Yes.
Roshanak, you are working in the marketing industry. You were actually nominated 7th most influential marketeer in Sweden of the decade. And you're also the co-founder of an award-winning network called All of Us. Have you always had role models in your life?
No, I've been really lacking that, and you're really vulnerable when you don't have your role models. It wasn't until recently, like actually last summer, at the age of 41, that I met someone and could mirror someone like myself. I'm always a woman, the only woman in a room, or the only person of color in a room. And this summer, I met our global CEO and global chief creative officer, which is very rare to be a woman, but also being very rare to have a Persian background, being brought up in Europe. So it was the first time. And until then, I had to listen to my own voice. You always, when you're alone, you always struggle with the voices in your head, being the imposter syndrome, which is actually what you think that others think of you. But you have to be strong without a role model and really believe in yourself and finding your own voice in that. And on personal branding, I've never actually done it consciously. I just believed in my values on like building diverse teams, doing things fairly, and that work has throughout the years brought me to where I am and who I am.
So being aligned with your own values, and it's about being yourself as well. Ladies, the three of you have impressive track records. I can imagine it's, as Ilham was saying, it's been a bumpy ride sometimes. How do you stay on top of your game, Nicole?
I think like any roller coaster, you have to hold on. Outside of work, I practice jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
And I think it's one of the few sports where you fall down and you immediately have to get back up because it is literally your survival depends on it, 100%. And I learned something from it, and it's my new motto, and it is, I never lose. I win or I learn. And it has reframed everything. And I think that's what truly resilience is. Jiu-jitsu, like life, like work, it's a game of inches. Like you're just trying to get a little bit forward. So what is the inch that I will learn today that will take me to tomorrow? What is the inch I will learn tomorrow that will take me into the next decade? You know, neuroscience tells us that you have to make mistakes. The mistake allows you to create new neural pathways. And that's neuroplasticity. Our brain begins to expand. So we must take a look at that. That's what resilience is, allowing yourself to learn or win.
I understand, Rashid, that being perfectionist has its downside. How did you cope with that?
I mean, struggling with being alone and the voices and the imposter syndrome you have forces you into being a perfectionist.
Yes.
And unfortunately, that led me to a burnout. But after that, I learned to kind of see what other people are doing and comparing that to what they say. And most people say a lot, but they don't do as much. So what I do is that I call them out, but not in a bad way, but just stating facts. And at the same time, reflecting on what I do and try to bring up and talk about what I actually do. It's not bragging, it's actual facts.
And talking about being alone, I understand that you co-founded All of Us with someone who maybe experienced the same situations as you?
Yeah, it's very much what Nicole said, that we really need each other. So when I met my co-founder almost 10 years ago now, it was because we were the only women of color at our workplace, and we started talking to each other and realized what we're going through, but also found confidence into driving this topic and led this to where we are now. So you really need each other to be strong.
So we don't have to feel that, oh no, we've got to do it all alone, and it's okay to reach out and to be actually with like-minded people and actually seek that, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So you talked also about being assertive, being factual about what you do, everything that you do. And you, Silvia, how are you doing with your self-confidence?
For me, it's pretty simple. Means continuous learning and means embracing challenges. I'm a grown-up. Even today, I like fairy tales. And in these small stories, the heroes are becoming more stronger after confronting the dragons. Of course, these dragons can come in our life in different forms, can be significant, challenging ahead, or losing someone dear. What is important is to face these dragons, because this is how we gain our confidence. Personally, I'm not a sporty person at all. I'm not proud of it, but that's reality. And still, I learn skiing at 36 because I want to be with my daughter on the slope. It took me so much time to learn and so much falls. But today, I can tackle even difficult slopes. So for me, confidence, resilience, and competence is coming by practice. And practice, in my case, means to confront all these dragons.
I love this visual picture of taming the dragon. So there is sometimes a belief that we have to find all the strengths within ourselves, but it can come from outside, right? So, Nicole, where do you find your support?
I think you can find it anywhere, right? We're social creatures. We are wired to be social. Neuroscience also tells us that our brains are wired to connect. And so I've had different social aspects. You know, I have networks of senior leaders, I have networks of junior engineers, and what I have found is that I grow from them equally because they both tell me, stay humble, be curious, be determined. But I do find that outside, I'm also a professor at university. My students teach me so much and they support me in my challenges. But even more than that, it's my kids. You know, I have a 13-year-old daughter, an 8-year-old son, and they're wild, but they are my biggest supporters. Because on the day, because there's going to be hard days, where I said, oh my God, Mommy messed up so badly today, they're gonna fire her and we're all gonna live in the forest, we're gonna have to forage for berries, there's no way we're gonna survive.
You feel that too, yeah. Okay.
Sometimes,
yeah.
yes, like when you
It's
send
the
that,
berries, yes.
the wrong email, I'm like, But it's the support that helps me say, you know what, this is going to be okay. And in fact, when I share those challenges and I share with my team, like, oh, I messed up today and here's what I did, I find that I become more resilient, they become more resilient, and we're able to then support each other.
Yeah, I find that too, that when you open up, other people open up, and it really strengthens the bonds. And being around young people is so refreshing. Roshi, how do you surround yourself with the right people?
I think that you need a network. Just as Nicole said, we're designed to be wired together, and if you're alone, you're very vulnerable. So I really try to build my network, and it's super important for anyone. If you're young, start today and build it up, because you will need your people eventually. And it's as easy as just asking people for a lunch or a coffee, and just the way that you are most comfortable. I like to meet people in person, someone else doesn't, but whatever works for you. And I remember, like, over 20 years ago at my first week at university, my teacher said, networking is the most important thing in your career. And I thought, that's bullshit. I'm just gonna do my work and it's gonna show. But 20 years later, I know that you have to do it equally. You have to do your job, but you really need that network. So start working on that today.
And it can be fun.
Of course, meeting new people is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Silvia, you have a talent for building strong teams. What's your philosophy behind it?
Even if I don't like sports so much, I will do a parallel with sports again. We are not actually solitary runners. At the workplace, along with our colleagues, we have the chance to build an environment of mutual support. This will make and will enhance actually the competence and the speed of each of the members and the team itself. This is, I call it my professional network. But there is another important network I have, and this is the personal network. It consists of my friends and my family. During my career, it happens sometimes to struggle maintaining this balance between life and work. And committing fully to my goals while having the support of my beloved ones was crucial. Just as a story, imagine me 14 years ago, suddenly switching from engineer position to line management, freshly returned from maternity. That changed our family dynamic and required a lot of support from my husband and from my family. What I think is very important in all these networks is to take care, to give, and to receive as much as possible equally.
Wise words, Silvia. Ladies, if you could go back in time and give yourself a piece of advice, what would you say? Who wants to go first? Silvia, what would you say to yourself?
I will speak about career development. Not every career is a succession of fireworks. Not anyone will climb on the career ladders very quickly. It takes time to build competence, to build experience, and it's okay. And another thing which is very important for me, all of us here as leaders, in any domain, the competence is the key. we all sitting here as leader, we have the responsibility and obligation to promote and to celebrate competence regardless of its source. By prioritizing competence, we build an environment of trust and, very important, equal opportunities.
Thank you for
It's
those wise
for
words,
me.
especially these days. Roshi, what would you say to yourself?
To my younger self, I would say to do only your job and nothing else. Because too often we tend to pick up things and give service to people that takes time from our actual work and delivery, and actually gives time for other people who don't to do their actual work. So I would say stay on track and do only what you're asked for.
Yeah. And you, Nicole?
I would tell my younger self a story. So where I live now, I live in San Diego. And we just recently moved there about a year ago, but the beach is covered in river stones. And I always have one in my pocket or one in my purse. There's always one on my desk. And the story behind the river stones is that they come from hundreds, thousands of miles to the San Diego coast. But in order to get there, they're tumbled, right? They have to go through water, they're sandblasted, they hit each other. And when all of that happens, you then have this very smooth, very polished, beautiful stone. And these patterns would have not emerged if the stone had not gone through the sandblasting, the tumbling. And I remind myself, it probably doesn't feel very good to be sandblasted. It doesn't feel good to be tumbled. But when you find these stones on the beach, they're never alone. They're actually in clusters together with shells. So I would remind myself that, Nicole, you're going to be tumbled. You are going to be sandblasted. You're going to be hit with other rocks. But you will find yourself amongst others, and the most beautiful patterns will be revealed because you allowed yourself the journey.
Oh, that's a lovely story to end this discussion. Ladies, we have some questions. I would like, checking the time, I would like to take one question for you, ladies. What is your golden habit for success? Roshi, what's your golden habit?
I mean, it's an advice that I give juniors all the time, and it's about taking up airtime, to just speak more and talk more and take up more space. Because we know that research have shown that when women are not speaking equally to men in a meeting, they are perceived as if they are speaking more.
Really?
So what I would say is to talk and then keep on talking. Also because your perspective is extremely important. You need to put value on that. And not only, I'm not talking about feelings or values. I'm talking about having your perspective and put that in a business case and result context instead. That's when people are going to listen. But talk and keep on talking.
Nicole, you Nicole, you talked about you never lose. You
I win or I learn.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Is that your one golden habit? Or?
That is my one golden habit. I win or I learn, but I'm going to cheat and give you two game changers. So one is reframe, right? So I think so often we say, am I the right person for this? No. Is it right for you? You have to change the whole mindset. Is the job right for me? No. Is the job the right thing for you? Not are you right for the job? And then the last thing is define your own success, because the world will tell you what success is, but you have to decide for yourself, is that right? So as you said, your perspective is critical. So decide for yourself and then go after that.
I love how you turn it on its head. Is this project right for me?
Exactly.
Silvia, your golden habit for success?
I will go back to Roshi actually, because I like what she said. Yes, we need to speak up, and sometimes we might be perceived as aggressive when we speak up. But if this happens, we just make it clear it's not aggressivity, we just make a point and move forward. In my case, my golden habit is to rely on my strengths. Being adaptable, focusing on the solution, not on the problem itself. Being a hard worker, this means do my task to the best of my abilities, but knowing when to stop and have courage to speak up and to ask questions when there are uncertainties or there are sensitive topics at hand. Also, understanding how my decision affect my personal and professional life, and recognizing my boundaries in terms of ethics or values and my no-goes is also crucial.
Ladies, today I've learned that success comes from not fitting into a mold, but being yourself. I will talk more than I think I should. I will do less than I think I should. And I'm going to go and visit the San Diego beach. Thank you so very much, ladies.